would you consider Amanda Nunes the GOAT?
Yeah, 100%.
What up, everyone? Shaq here for Combat Culture, and you know who this is. She is the former UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion and a shoo-in Hall of Famer. They call her Cupcake, but she's anything but sweet inside the octagon. Miesha Tate, how are you?
Hey, that was quite an intro. I like that.
Thank you.
But sweet inside the octagon. I like that. I feel like that's a quote.
Okay. Hey, listen. I'll take like a 2% royalty. The rest, brand it, put it on a shirt, whatever you want, it's yours.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. You know, we're going to get to it later, but I feel like considering the time, I think people can tell it's a little dark. How has it been balancing motherhood with the fighting and obviously all the great stuff that's coming out of SiriusXM throwing down with Renee and Miesha? How are you managing all this?
Honestly, I'm kind of tapped out for anything else I can manage. So at this point, I'm outsourcing. I'm like looking for like help, personal assistance. I'm leaning more on my family, my fiance Johnny. Here, take the kids. They're not my problem for the next 3 hours because I'll be on the radio. Peace.
Well, I thank you for squeezing us in so late at night. I saw on your Instagram that you recently hit like a milestone of USADA tests. Can you remind me what number that was real quick?
25.
25.
But I've been tested again since then, so it'll be 26. But I think they count like 25 and 50. I think 50 you get a jacket.
Yeah, you gotta get the big ones.
Yeah.
Do you have any awkward USADA stories that stand out, like a really awkward time that they came to test you?
Yes, actually, the last time that they came to test me was the time I needed to put my son to sleep, and I'm still nursing. So I'm like, how is this gonna work? I've got to like go in the room and nurse him. And, so she kind of had to like just stand there with the door cracked open while I like nursed my son and put him to sleep essentially. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not that shy, but it was still kind of awkward.
Well, they come whenever they please, right?
Yeah.
That's unfortunately the nature of the beast. So you did have a fight scheduled against Ketlen Vieira that unfortunately has been postponed. First and foremost, I know you gave an update on your show, but how are you feeling for people who may have missed it? You tested positive for COVID.
Yeah.
We're hoping that you're doing okay.
Yeah. It's still clearing out of my lungs just a little bit. Like when I wake up in the morning and you can hear it a little bit, probably my sinuses still, like I still have a little bit of a cough. But it's getting better every day, and I had a really tough strength and conditioning workout today, and I feel like I crushed it. So the limitations are getting much less, and I think it's just a matter of continuing to work through it and progress. And I have hopefully this will get rescheduled before too long, but I mean, essentially it cost me 2 weeks of camp. I was really pretty sick, nothing alarming. I mean, a little bit of a fever. I had a pretty severe cough. I had the sinus congestion. I wasn't sleeping well at night. I lost, taste and smell got weird. I just it's kind of muted. But then the next week my kids were sick. So it's like I couldn't really even get to the gym and train. I couldn't hire a sitter. I couldn't have anybody come here. I couldn't take them out. I couldn't take them with me. So it was like 2 weeks. And even that week was still a pretty rough week as far as just trying to get my body back into the swing of things. I definitely was nowhere near 100%. So I tried really hard to talk myself into keeping the fight October 16th. But the reality was like, I just was not going to be on par to be at that 100% mark. And, I gotta be. So
for sure.
That was a choice to delay. So I'm hoping in October. I mean, not October. Well, I wanted it originally. I'm hoping in November.
Okay, so I was gonna say, has the UFC gotten back to you at all, or is that just the date that do you have a specific date that would work for you? Have you looked at the calendar of events?
I think that November. Oh, anytime before Thanksgiving really would be, maybe
can't miss Thanksgiving.
Exactly. And I got mommy duties now, so I've got the kids and a different dynamic. So it's kind of the wearing of the hats. I really wanted to get a fight in before the holidays started. So I think, before Thanksgiving would be great.
Now, obviously, you came back to the UFC. Oh, wonderful. Hi. And for those not familiar, what's your daughter's name?
What's your name?
Maya.
Amaya.
Wonderful. This is a family show, so the more the merrier. People always trying to like hide their kids off at the side, but I'm like, it's adorable. Why wouldn't you? Let's talk a little bit about Amanda Nunes, right? You came back, amazing first fight, and you're now a ranked women's bantamweight once again, working her way up the division. Amanda's been this like juggernaut of the division in your absence. What sort of chinks in the armor do you see, without giving away too much of the secret sauce, that you think that you candidly could exploit?
Well, gosh, she is really a beast of a woman. I mean, I don't want to sit here and knock her very much. I think she's great. Like I'm a huge fan. But I know anybody's beatable. I think anytime that you can put somebody in a position that they don't want to be in, right? Amanda is amazing at leading the dance. Valentina Shevchenko is amazing at navigating the dance. So I think really, Mommy's doing her interview. Wait, please. Anytime that you can take the ball and put it more in your court, I mean, that's really the game plan. I mean, I don't know if it would be so specific. Obviously, I think I have a grappling advantage when I'm not rocked, when I'm not. Thank you for knocking my light down, Amanda.
That's fair.
I still do. I mean, I think that pretty much against everybody, to be honest. Pretty much everybody.
There is
kids.
No, hey, listen.
Hey,
this is impressive that you're managing all of this.
I'm not sugarcoating anything here. You're getting the real deal.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate and support it.
Yeah, no, Amanda's amazing. I mean, she doesn't have a ton of weaknesses. I think that's why she's been the champion for so long. But I think of anybody besides myself and Juliana are the best to match up with her. We've seen what happens when people try to stand for too long.
Nothing
so but I'd like to remind everybody that when I fought Amanda, we didn't know she was the Amanda she was going to be. That was the start of it all. Like, I didn't know that she had a right hand from hell. Like, she never really used it before. We never saw that. So she had this evolution, and it kind of came up through me. Also kind of hit me at a really bad time in my career, which is no reflection on her either. It's just what it was. But she's been amazing since then, but I'm still coming for her. You know what I mean? I'll give it whatever I've got. And me, I'll turn things into a dogfight. I'll do whatever I've got to do to get the W. So I'm not afraid of her. I'm not afraid of getting knocked out. I'm not afraid of losing. Nothing changes in my life, win, lose, draw. And it makes me incredibly dangerous because I fear nothing. I literally fear nothing anymore.
Candidly, I think that's one of the most exciting fights to make right now. So I'm all for it, and I hope we get to see it. Amanda Nunes, this is the last thing on Amanda. Around the time where she started, she beat you, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, people started going, is Amanda Nunes the greatest of all time for women or overall? Would you, as a pioneer of the sport and someone who's still very much in the mix of things, would you consider Amanda Nunes the GOAT?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think so. I mean, it's you got to take into consideration her whole career, and I guess that's if you're going to, I guess maybe there's some argument because of some of the fights she lost, but I really look at what she's done with who she's done, the knockouts and the finishes and the way she finishes just about everybody. So I really weigh heavily her second stint. I really weigh that heavily, and I just don't know if anybody has done it more impressively, especially getting stronger as she goes. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people, I don't think very many people, if you look at Amanda's career, you never would have predicted, right? I mean, Amanda got like a good half of the way through her career, maybe 2/3 almost by comparison, and she definitely wasn't a glimmer of the Amanda that she grew into. So I think that's really impressive too. I know the GOAT talk is always subjective. What do people actually weigh into that? Start strong and then fizzle off, or kind of be mediocre and then turn into something incredible. I kind of like the latter.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing to see that sort of progress. Can we touch briefly on the fighter pay stuff? I know you've talked about it recently on your show, and you've addressed it, so I don't want to push the issue too much. Thank you. I just had one question. That is, you said something that is very true, but myself and others are wondering, it is true that fighters don't make a whole ton of money until they're the upper echelon. But should that be the case, that fighters don't make much money until they have a world title in their hands?
Gosh, honestly, I wish that I think that the problem is that everyone in life wishes that they could make more money. I know that school teachers wish that they could make more money. I think doctors, believe they deserve, policemen deserve, I mean, so it's a weird term to sit here and say like, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that. I mean, really the way that I kind of look at it is like, would I like to make more money? Yeah, but I kind of feel like that's on me. Like I win my fights, I get to be a champion, I make a lot of money. Like, okay, but I'm doing something that I really love. And I mean, I don't know how you put a price on that either. I also think sometimes that money kind of ruins the purity of a sport. I mean, the hunger and tenacity. So I don't want to make an argument that fighters like shouldn't get paid because it keeps them, like,
I understand. Yeah.
Salivating at the mouth, like they're so hungry all the time. I mean, it's kind of a sad argument to make, but it's also somewhat true. I mean, look at like Cheyenne Bays, for example. She's a friend of mine. And when she got that $50,000 bonus, you saw that was literally life changing. She has been struggling for so long, but because of the struggle, it weeds out the weak people. It weeds out the people who won't do it because they're actually passionate about it. If people were doing it because it's an easy paycheck, I just feel like, I don't know. It's one of those double-edged swords that it's great to make more money. And yeah, do I want to make more money? Of course. I mean, I want to keep fighting. I want to make lots of money. But I also don't feel like I'm in a position where I'm unhappy. You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
I spend a lot of money on myself, or at least I did this last camp. Mind you, I hadn't fought in almost 5 years. So I spent a lot of money on myself, a lot, maybe more than most fighters would, but I kind of look at it like I'm doubling down, and I've said it before that I will spend every last penny if I have to, because being a world champion to me means more than a paycheck. And that's it at the end of the day. It really does. It means more to me than any amount of money.
And what a return performance it was. Since you are now in the position that you do talk about the news a lot with Renee over at SiriusXM, I did want to get one question in about a news topic that's unfortunately dominating headlines right now. That is Jon Jones's arrest. I don't know if you saw the most recent reports, but it appears that when they got in touch with Jon's fiance, she had some blood on her, around her, and I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on Jon's recent arrest and the allegations of domestic battery.
It is so disheartening. Jon Jones, we can give him all the compliments for his accolades, and he deserves that, but there's just a lot of really unforgivable things that he has done throughout the history of his career, at least in the limelight that we know of. And it's really tough to separate. I think it's getting more difficult for fans to separate the two, like to just be a fan of him as a fighter and not recognize the other things that he does as a human being that kind of tarnish that. And look, I mean, people are like, oh, what do we have to do? Like, do we, who should be in charge of Jon Jones? Like, Jon Jones should be in charge of Jon Jones. There's nobody else that we should be looking at. It's not his fiance's fault. It's not his parents' fault at this point. He's not a kid anymore. He's a grown-ass man. He's a grown-ass man, and he needs to be responsible. And I think that, I would like to consider myself, an acquaintance / friend. Like I don't wish anything ill towards Jon Jones. I know I've pissed him off before with my comments, but if I had any advice for the man, it would, from the bottom of my heart, it would be to stay away from those things that cause you that potential fallout, whether that be alcohol, whether it be certain kinds of drugs, I don't know. But if it's an atmosphere, if it's Las Vegas, if it's you need to walk out of the room when you get upset and you need to take an hour before that you come back and talk to your partner. I don't know what his kryptonites are, but I think that he has to be strong enough and have the mental fortitude to recognize those and to stay the hell away from them. That's how he's going to keep himself out of trouble. And nobody can do that but him. Dana White cannot get one of those little kitty leashes and follow him around all day long. It's not Dana White's fault. Yeah, you can't do that. Like, he has to recognize what his problems are, kryptonites are, and steer clear. So I hope he can do that. But, I won't be one of them holding my breath because This is just, you can't even be surprised by it anymore.
Miesha, I want to thank you for touching on that. I see we're the 15-minute mark, but I hate to leave it on that note when it's so
All right,
late.
I'm
So can
really
we wrap up?
long-winded, I know.
No, it's okay. So can we wrap up on a few lighter things just so we can end, end
Yeah.
your night, long day of work with some goodies. First, being back in the mix, especially now as an active fighter, how proud are you of the role you played when you see all the other amazing women in the division and how far the sport has come between, when you took your break and when you got back?
It's great to see. I think the divisions and the women are continuing to flourish, but I think I'm a hell of an addition coming back, to be honest. I don't want to sugarcoat that either. Feel like the women's division needed that, needed fresh blood, needed for me to come back and kind of spice things up a little bit because when you talk about such a dominant champion like Amanda, more blood can't hurt. So I'm here to do my thing, and you'll continue to see me do that. And I still want that fight with Ketlen. Still coming for that ass. So I'm hoping to get
November.
that. Absolutely.
November. They call you Cupcake. Give me your 3 to 5 favorite sweet treats.
Ooh, three. So I like not cheesecakes. Not that I don't like cheesecake, but cream cheese pie. There is a distinguishable
Wow.
difference to a cream
I've
cheese
never had
pie.
one.
Have you ever? Do you know what claim jumpers? Do you guys have? Do you have that out there? Claim.
Up in Canada, I have no idea. Not that I know of, but I will
Probably
track one down.
not. We do have one here in Vegas, but they have an amazing raspberry cream cheese pie, salted caramel cupcakes.
Hmm.
I have three more sweet treats, huh? I
Or
love
one,
salty.
whatever.
Yeah. I love. I mean, or 10. I could list probably. I could just keep going. But like pretzels, caramel, peanut butter. Like those. I don't know what they're called. So there's Reese's cups. Those are great. What else?
Yeah, you're speaking my language.
I know, right?
Apparently, I have new
I
ones with
love.
potato chips in them. I haven't ventured yet,
I haven't
but
ventured that
I
far,
could do for
but I
some
could see
crunchy in
that
there.
being good. I mean, I feel like if as long as it's not like vinegar or something weird.
No, I'm sure it's just for the crunch. Maybe a little extra
Yeah,
salt.
I could do that. I could wrap my mind around that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Has Renee Paquette taken you down the Kraft mac and cheese ice cream route yet?
No, she keeps telling me that it's there, but you know what? It just I mean, the appeal hasn't quite been strong enough to like make me make the 20-minute drive to her house and back.
All right.
But if we get to hang out and she happens to have it there, I'm not saying I won't try it, but
Okay. Last but not least, let's get a headline here. Bold prediction time. This time next year, where's Miesha Tate at in her UFC career?
my gosh, this time next year. Ooh, this time next year, I think I could be the champion again.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think this fight with Ketlen um, could be a number one contender eliminator. If not, one more fight. I'm okay with either way that it goes. Just totally depends on the performance and how fast I can get this fight done with. Um, but I don't see more than this fight and one other before I'm fighting for the championship again. And I think I can get that done before this time next year. So, woo! If I'm not the champ by then, I think I'll be really close to that fight. It kind of a little bit depends on the champ, the GOAT. She's got to be obviously willing to fight too. And I know that she's got two belts. She's got two divisions. So I need her to tango. So part of that will be on her too.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing it. Miesha, first and foremost, congratulations on everything from the new show on SiriusXM to the amazing return and all the good stuff adding to the family.
Thank you.
I'll leave the last word with you. I don't know if you want to plug the show since we set this up through SiriusXM, but let everyone know where they can find you outside of the octagon.
Well, we did launch our new show, Throwing Down with Renee and Miesha. That's every Monday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry, I don't have the brain power left to translate that over to Eastern time.
2 to 5 Eastern?
Thank you.
I listen.
I know. Everyone
this is
has
all I do every day.
Eastern time, and it just makes my head hurt. You wouldn't think that it's that hard to just count three more, but when you go over the noon time for me, it just gets really confusing. So
I gave Marissa the wrong time for today because I did the calculation wrong. I feel you.
Oh, okay. See, so I was like, I didn't, yeah. Mom problems. And then of course, just like, you guys on my Instagram and all that good stuff. Remember the I before E, except after C rule does apply to my name. I always try to remind people of that because there's some great phony accounts out there. Don't be fooled, you guys. Don't be tricked. Don't let the wool be pulled over your eyes. And yeah, you guys know where to find me. So I know I got a new YouTube channel. We've been trying to drop an episode every Monday. I think you just find it under Miesha Tate. But yeah, we've been trying to do an episode every Monday. We missed the last two because I was sick, not feeling well. So, but you guys can continue to look there for those live fight week updates. Just kind of keep you guys rolling through my camps and my life, and you can find out a little bit more extra stuff about me other than just punching people in the face.
Boom. There we go, guys. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, go over to Miesha Tate's YouTube channel, hit subscribe. SiriusXM throwing down with Renee and Miesha every Monday. And hopefully, November 2021, we will see Miesha Tate back in the octagon. Thank you so much for your time today.
Alrighty. See you guys.